Hello and welcome to Studio from Home with the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia. My name's Becca and today we will be learning about observational drawing. For step-by-step instructions on this and many other activities, please visit the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia's website. We would love to see what you've made, so please take a photo and tag us on any social media that you use.
Today we will be looking at 3 ink drawings from 1938 by artists Ellen Lindsay, Bert Hart, and Howard Callahan. All 3 of these drawings are part of our study collection at the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia. Notice the quality of line in all 3 of these works. Each artist has chosen to draw themselves in contour, which is to say with line work and minimal shading. See how the lines overlap each other, giving hints at the structure of the figure, but in a fragmented, irregular way. All 3 of these artists approach observational drawing by choosing to focus on line, shape, and movement rather than realism. To set up, grab your materials and find a comfortable seated position opposite to your subject. Here, I have gathered 2 sizes of paper, a pencil, and a nice hard-covered book to use as a backing for my drawing. If you have markers or other colorful drawing materials, you can use those too, but it's optional. A contour drawing is a continuous outline of a subject. This activity is called a blind contour because you are not going to be looking at the page while you are drawing, but instead, you are going to be looking at your subject. Practicing blind contours helps us develop our hand-eye coordination by limiting the amount of information we gather about a subject and focusing instead on line and form. By doing so, we are forced to draw what we actually see instead of what we think we see. Begin by setting a timer and taking 1 minute to look at your subject. This is my good friend Abby. She helped me by letting me draw her while she knits a sock. During this minute, don't do anything other than look at your subject, exploring as many details as possible by slowly tracing the lines of your subject with your eyes. During this process, you are not trying to memorize your subject, but instead, you are gathering details about what is actually in front of you.
You can start by setting a timer for 2 minutes. After a few tries, you can try extending the amount of time that you're drawing your subject. Remember, this activity is all about hand-eye coordination and practicing drawing what we actually see as opposed to what we think we see.
Make sure you have a piece of paper, ideally without lines, and a pencil. Pick up your paper and place your pencil point on your page. Looking back at your subject, focus your eyes on one point of your subject or model. Try to imagine that you are tracing the contours or edges of the subject instead of drawing on the page. As your eyes move, let your pencil move with it while following these basic rules. Don't look down at your paper and don't let your pencil lift from the paper. Continue to move your pencil along the same lines as where your eyes move. Feel free to go back over areas that you have already looked at. You can try doing several drawings on one page by rotating the page 90 degrees as you go. Scaling up is also a great idea for a blind contour and a great way to practice adding more time to the clock. It may look a little bit sped up in my video version, but really, again, what you want to be doing is taking your time here. Follow those lines very closely, take your time, attempting to capture as many of those details as possible without taking your eyes off of your subject or looking at your page. When you are finished, you can look down at your page and see your final drawing. Your page is likely to look like a complicated mix of lines and suggested forms. It will probably look extremely silly and only a little bit like your subject. Don't be discouraged. You have done the activity correctly. It's best to remember that this is a technique that is more about learning from the process than about producing a finished artwork. Thank you for watching this video and stay tuned for more lessons on Sundays from Studio from Home with the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia.